black thing go from left to right, and I thought, I'm going to die out here. No one's ever going to know. I couldn't believe what my eyeballs were showing me. I'll never forget how evil the eyes were. It was horrible. I mean, I've never seen nothing that evil.
It ran towards me at a rate that I can't even explain. Turned and stared at me, and this look of, I just want to kill you. I want to say it was human, but it wasn't.
He was yelling at me to grab a gun. I was like, for what? He said, just grab a gun. And there's footprints all the way to the door of my house. It had went inside my garage, all the way to the door.
911, what are you reporting?
Jesus Christ, you better...
Sir?
Zia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh.
You're listening to Sasquatch Chronicles. Check us out online at SasquatchChronicles.com. If you've had an encounter, email me. My email address is wes@SasquatchChronicles.com. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. Got a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to be talking to Foy, and Foy comes to us from the Georgia mountains, and he was out with his wife. They've been lifelong hikers and just being out in the woods. Foy's actually a teacher. He helps students, at-risk students, takes them out in the woods, teaches them survival and other skills that they can use in their life. So he knows the woods really well, and he's been hiking a lot of these trails most of his life. And, with encounters, it's not necessarily sometimes the creature that you see, but it's a creature that you don't see that can be more terrifying. And that's definitely the case that happened to Foy and his wife. And I'll let him tell the encounter. But it's very fascinating. There's a lot of behaviors that you'll get out of Foy's encounter with these creatures. If you've had an encounter and you'd like to be on the show, shoot me an email. My email address is wes@SasquatchChronicles.com. And I'm actually working on another member show. It may be this weekend. Don't hold me to that. But with Bethany, you guys remember her from, I believe it was episode 606, where the creature was staring at her child. And she grew up in that home in Vermont. Her mother, for the longest time, thought the home was haunted because something would bang on the home or rocks would be thrown at the house. They would hear a lot of weird things. And when I spoke with Bethany, she kind of gave me an update on what's going on there. And her mother had seen one of the creatures cross the road. But that wasn't the reason why Bethany contacted me. She actually had a run-in while trying to get a Christmas tree off the property. Very, very fascinating stuff. Let's jump into it tonight. I want to welcome Foy to the show. Foy, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Wes. It's an honor.
Yeah, no, the honor is mine, and I really appreciate you coming forward to share your encounter. And, these type of encounters, I think, are almost more scary than people seeing the creature. Because sometimes it's almost worse not seeing, directly what's coming for you. But if you would, I know the encounter took place out there in the Georgia mountains. If you would, Foy, just kind of start from the beginning. Tell us kind of what you were doing and what happened.
I'll be happy. Okay. Well, my wife and I, we have a trail that starts at a Forest Service lake, a beautiful little campground. That's a feeder trail to the AT. A lot of the AT through hikers will divert and go to this campground. It's about 3.5 miles between the AT and the campground. And we liked the trail just because it was pretty. It had lots of smaller little streams that run down from hollers down to a larger stream down below the trail. And so we enjoyed that trail quite a bit. So we drove out there. This is in 2009. in the middle of summer, mid-June. Actually, it was like the second weekend in June. I can tell you that because it did make quite an impression on me in 2009. And we took the trail like we had done, oh my God, if it was once, it was 20 times before. We hiked out about a half a mile towards the AT with the idea that we would get to the AT, hike it back towards a little place that's an overlook, and have lunch, and then hike back and head home like we've done several times in the past. Well, we were into the trail about a mile and a half, and it's midsummer, humid. It's it's Georgia, and even in the mountains it gets pretty hot and humid. And we stopped by one of these little streams that I described. It was probably the third or fourth one on the way in, on the way to the AT. And we were just really just messing around, talking, ducking our heads underwater. We do theater there, and we were probably shooting the crap about a show that we had coming up. We did theater there. And we heard a rustling upslope from us, probably about 50. It's hard with distances because sound travels in those hollers and in those mountains. But I would say from what we saw next, it was about 45 to 50 yards away from us. We heard a rustling. And then right after that, I guess you can hear my voice shaking a little bit, but we heard what I can describe as, and the way I tried to describe it, and I'm not shy about telling folks that I heard this, and that Julie and I heard this because it's just the way it is. We heard something I've never heard before. It sounded like a chimp yell, but it wasn't a chimp. It was deeper, and then it went up and ululated, I guess is the word, like a chimp's voice does, not high like that. It vibrated like it, like but it wasn't high like that. It was much more guttural, much louder, to the point where when I felt it in my core, and Julie felt it in her core. And then right after that, about 50 yards upslope, we saw two poplar trees, the tops of two poplar trees shaking, and they weren't just waving in the breeze; they were shaking. And we're talking trees where I'd say 6 to 8 inches in diameter now, and these are poplars are rapidly growing trees, and they aren't they're not like oaks, but they aren't easy for a man to shake. And no man could have made the sound we heard anyway. And then at the same time that the two poplars were shaking, the rhododendron was shaking as well. The mountain laurel and rhododendron. The vegetation around here in the summertime is extremely verdant, very, very thick. In the winter, you can see a good ways. In the summer, you might can see 5-7 yards through the vegetation, but a lot of folks don't realize that rhododendron and mountain laurel are the reason that these mountains were so hard for our forefathers to cross back in the day, because you can't get a horse through and wagons through those rhododendron bushes. Sometimes you have to crawl if you're, hiking off trail or scrambling. So we're surrounded by these rhododendron and hardwoods, and old growth hardwood forests on either side of this trail. And this thing screams, the trees start shaking, the rhododendron started shaking up there. And we pretty much froze for a second. It seemed like 5 minutes, but it wasn't, because everything kind of clicked. We grabbed our